welcome to Slice of the Moon Cooking, where if I can make it, so can you. Today we're going to make chocolate-covered mice, because, well, I like to make them. As you can see, it's pretty cold outside, so I decided to do most of my cooking indoors today. So to make these chocolate-covered mice, what we're going to do is we're going to use some chocolate chips, and then we're going to cover up some Oreos. I got some mint Oreos, some regular Oreos, and then some leftover Halloween flavored Oreos. Then what we're going to need to do is melt some chocolate down, about 4 cups, and then we're going to add some coconut oil to it, about 2 tablespoons per cup of chocolate chips. Just to melt them down nice and smooth, and then we can dip our Oreos in them pretty well. So let's get started. Like I said, we're going to use 4 cups of just general chocolate chips, measured out. Then we're going to add a little bit for myself and some from the Gremlins. Now we need to add some of this coconut oil here. Like I said, about 2 teaspoons per cup of chocolate chips we're using. Give about, just enough to make it melt nicely. You don't want to put too much in there because it'll make the chocolate too soft and it'll just melt and fall off the chocolate, the cookie. Now the proper way to melt chocolate beyond the stove, the double boiler method, where you put your pot on top, fill it with water, boil it down, stir it up, makes it nice and smooth and keeps good control. But you could get water into chocolate, which makes it freeze up and it'll turn into a stone, and you really don't want that. So I'm going to do a slightly more dangerous method. I'll put it in the microwave. This way I can nuke it for about 10 seconds at a time, keep it stirring, and it'll nicely become smooth. But you could overcook your chocolate, and that'll make it really bad and kind of awful. So you have to start over the whole process over again. So now we need to set up everything here, get everything ready. I'm using a wire rack here so the chocolate cools more evenly. Now you have to be really careful when you do this, because if you overcook your chocolate, you'll lose its temper. And that's that shiny chocolate bar quality. And if you lose the temper, it's really hard to get it back unless you're a professional chocolate expert, which I'm not. So I'm going to need to stir this every couple seconds, pull the hot chocolate from the outside into the middle, whip it around. So now that I got that done, I'm going to lay out the cookies nicely. Get everything set up, get my workspace all proper. Make sure I know exactly how many I'm doing. I have to feed the gremlins or they'll come in and get me. Now, the chocolate here is almost perfect. Still got a few lumps in it, but it's pretty darn close to what we want. So I'm going to stick that back in for about another 15 seconds while I get the last of my cookies out. In these nice tight little rolls I'm doing here. So I can get everything nice and pretty, set up, and organized so I know what I'm doing later on. Now that the chocolates come out, it looks really nice. Smooth, good color, nicely all finished. I threw all my cookies down because I made my space too large. Now I'm going to grab a heating pad and put it in a larger bowl here. This way, I can keep my chocolate just at the right temperature so it stays melted, so when I dip, I don't have to hurry up and get everything done before the chocolate sets up. Now, the best way to dip these is with like 2 forks. You use one to lift the Oreo, and the second one to kind of scoop it off to the side. So we need to just flip the Oreo cover over a couple times, let it drain some of the chocolate off, and drop it on the mat. You have to be careful to make sure the chocolate gets all in the little nooks and crannies around the frosting, but you don't want the chocolate coating to be too hard, because then it'll be like biting into a brick. So let it drain and just slide it off. So after you get them properly covered, and they're all looking really good, I'm going to skip over to the next step, which it will be to use up all the extra chocolate we have. So what we do here is we take some Ritz crackers, drop them in there, just a handful, and you coat them up nicely and place them down like you did the Oreos. Now I prefer the chocolate covered Ritz to the chocolate covered Oreos, just because the saltiness of the buttery and the saltiness of the Ritz tastes really good to me. That, and it's not so sweet. So once you get all the chocolate in the bottom of the bowl soaked up with the Ritz, we can move on to the fun stuff. So now that we got the Oreos all covered up, we need to start working on the body of the mice. So we're going to have some fun and use chocolate-covered cherries for the body of the mice. Now any brand of chocolate-covered cherries will do. I personally like using this. But what you do is you have to put the chocolate-covered cherry on the very edge of the Oreo. Just put them down, wiggle them in the chocolate a little bit, until they fit nicely. And once you get a few in there, next you're wanting to put some Hershey Kisses as the heads. So you get your Hershey's Kisses out, unwrap them, make them all pretty. Remember, always keep an extra Hershey Kiss or two for yourself. That's the important part. Now, okay, well, so like I said, you gotta take the Hershey Kiss and you dip it just in a little bit of your melted chocolate. Just get it across the back ever so lightly. And then place the Hershey Kiss so the back is against your chocolate covered cherry. You have a little nose that sticks out. Now balancing them on there is a little hard. That's why you want the chocolate to be a little bit cooler so it doesn't slide around too much. So we go through here, placing all the little micey faces on it. Keep them all nice and pretty. Now as you get all the little heads on there, you want to decide how you want to go to the next level. Right there. So as you get the next level, you want to decide if you want to use some little M&Ms, or you can use little almond slivers for their ears. Either way, what you want to do is get the M&Ms, because that's what you're going to pick, about the same colors, and you dip them into your chocolate and put them in the crease right in between the chocolate covered cherry and the Hershey Kiss. Right down in there so that they stick together and they look like little ears. Of course, the first one I tried to show you on, the chocolate's a little hot and they don't want to stick. So like I said, you just get them, stick them down in there, tell them to play fair, and you can finally get them. So grab all your M&Ms, dip them, stick them right behind the little heads, use a fork, hammer them down in there nice and tight, and you can get a really nice appearance, little Mickey Mouse ears. If you are going to do almonds, what you do is the same way, dip them in the chocolate, put them down between the Hershey Kiss, and that gives you more realistic mouse ears. So now that you got your little mice all set up and pretty, you might want to take it one step farther, and by adding some candied chocolate. They come in different colors. And what you got to do is you melt them down like the regular chocolates. I always add a little bit more of the coconut oil in there. Then you can put them in the bottle and decorate by putting eyes and tails, and if you want to go farther than that. So what we need to do is open this up, put them in the container. Again, it's about 2 teaspoons of the coconut oil per cup of the white chocolate, this white candy chocolate I'm using here. Nuke it up, stir it so it's nice and smooth, and then you have to do the hard job of pouring it into that little tiny bottle. Now I know there's a technique where you take your wax paper, you can pour it in there and roll it up and use the paper as a proper dispensary unit. But hey, I bought the bottle, I'm going to try to use it. So as you pour it in there, I like how it's nice and runny, it's thin, you can pour it in nicely. Put the cap on, decorate up all your Ritz crackers, go through, touch up your mice, put little eyes on them, run little tails down their backs, split them up so they actually kind of look like what they're supposed to be. And you can squeeze out decorations on top of the regular Oreos and make them all look pretty and nice. Well, I just want to thank you for watching this video. I hope you had as much fun watching it as I did making it. And remember, if you have any comments, just drop them down below, and we'll gladly have a discussion about these. Thank you. And again, I'd just like to apologize for how late these videos are coming out. And I'm trying hard as I can to get an actual 2 times a month going on all these. So thank you again for watching, and I hope you have a good day.